Welcome to the Cairn Homes Site Induction course for employees and contractors. Following the video, you will be required to answer a series of questions to complete the induction process. Have a pen and paper ready, and please ensure you record the running time as each new topic commences. You must also note the colour of the crane working on timber frame houses. Good luck! Cairn Homes plc is committed to building high-quality, competitively priced, sustainable new homes in great locations. We cannot achieve this without the support and effort of the contractors and site workforce. According to the HSA statistics, 93 people have died in construction in Ireland in the 10 years from 2010 to 2020, and many more have suffered life-changing injuries. This short induction video has been prepared to outline the health and safety requirements that are in place to protect you and your colleagues when working on a Cairn Homes site. Remember, don't become another construction statistic. Work safe, home safe. Arriving on site. When you arrive to site on the first day, you must meet the H&S officer for the site to arrange the following: site-specific induction, meet your black hat supervisor. Each company provides site supervisors. These are identified by wearing black hard hats. Complete access permissions to the site. Read, understand, and sign your company RAMs. Each worker is required to meet your black hat supervisor and sign off the daily start worksheet. Arrange permit to work forms as required. The following permits are required: hot work permit, any work creating a naked flame or heat source. Permit to dig, excavation works or other works requiring the contractor to break ground, for example, installing fence posts. Confined space entry permit. PPE. 5-point PPE must be worn at all times when on site. Hard hat, eye protection, gloves, protective footwear, high visibility clothing. Additional task-specific PPE is required as identified in your RAMs and daily safe start assessments. These may include respiratory protection, fall arrest PPE, hearing protection. If you do not have the correct equipment to carry out the work, you must stop work immediately and report to your black hat or Cairn supervisor. Accidents, incidents, and emergency procedures. Site-specific emergency procedures are communicated at the site-specific induction. The ERT, Emergency Response Team, for the site is displayed at the whiteboard in the site compound. Members of the ERT are identified on site by wearing a blue and yellow high-visibility vest. Cairn Homes provides an AED and first aid provisions on all sites. The Cairn H&S team and others are trained in emergency first aid. Remember, all accidents, incidents, first aid events and close calls must be reported to the safety officer on your site as soon as possible after the event. Never leave splinters, cuts or open wounds untreated or uncovered in a construction environment due to risk of infection or contamination. Plant and people interface. Keep plant clear of people and people clear of plant. Pedestrian gates and access routes are provided to separate the movement of people and plant on all Cairn sites. Always use the pedestrian walkway provided. Never approach any machine without the permission of the operator. Ensure the operator gives you a thumbs up signal before passing machinery on site. Site development works. Permit to dig procedures must be in place before breaking ground. Any excavations present risk of serious injury due to vehicle overturn, falls from height and collapse. Never enter an excavation unless it has been inspected and the banks of the dig are sloped at 45 degrees or trench supports are in place. All excavations on site must be fenced or barriered off during the working day and backfilled, protected outside working hours. Ensure all utilities chambers are protected by metal plates or permanent covers. If you are unsure around any excavation works, you must stop work immediately and report to your black hat or cairn supervisor. Timber frame house construction. The timber frame kit arrives on the truck and is assembled using mobile crane. The crane is contained within a barriered-off exclusion zone. No person is permitted into the exclusion zone other than the kit erecting team. All lifts to be controlled by trained CSCS slinger. The access into the first floor of the house is from the scaffold through the first floor windows. Do not remove the stairwell crash deck. Netting is provided on the roof level to protect falls from height into the house during the roof construction. The first floor air tightness and ceiling plasterboard are constructed before the stairwell crash deck is removed. Once the stairs are fitted, guardrails are fitted to the landing and stairs. Do not work in a house if the stairwell guardrails have been removed. Access arrangements into the house must be assessed daily, and workers must report to their black hat or cairn management team if the access into the house is blocked or obstructed in any way. Tower cranes and overhead lifting. Tower cranes are an essential part of construction. A lift plan is prepared for the site to include a schedule of common lifts carried out on site. All loads must be slung by the appointed slinger signaller for the site. The slinger signaller is paired with the crane driver and is in radio contact with the operator throughout the lift. All lifting and communication with crane operators must be through the appointed slinger signaller. Never attempt to sling or lift a load. Never attempt to give hand signals or directions to the crane operators. The slinger signaller carries a handheld whistle alarm. He uses this device to warn the persons on the ground when there are incoming loads or the potential for loads to traverse overhead of others on the site. When you hear the whistle, look up and locate the incoming load to ensure you are in a safe zone. Never use damaged or frayed slings or other lifting gear. Always report damaged slings to the slinger signaller, the site safety officer, or your black hats. If you have any concerns regarding the lifting operation on the site, contact your site safety officer or black hat supervisor. Issues will be raised and closed out throughout daily coordination meetings or the crane lifting team meetings. Formwork and concrete pours. Steel is delivered to site on flat-back trucks and mechanically offloaded in the designated storage area, prefabrication area. Clear access routes must be provided to all work locations to avoid non-essential steel fixing personnel walking across the steel frames prior to pouring the concrete slab. Once floor slabs are complete, a designated clearway must be provided for pedestrian access. Mupes or scaffold frames are used to form steel wall and to fit and position shutters. Climbing on steel is strictly prohibited and will result in disciplinary actions. Working platforms set up on vertical shutters must be provided with ladder access and be tagged as safe to use once the inspections are carried out and recorded on Form GA3. Never access a working platform without a tag. Formwork decks are used to construct the building levels. Access to these tables are restricted to persons trained to operate the hangman fall arrest system and work at height personal protective equipment. General access to the leading decks is not permitted until the concrete slab is in place and the perimeter fall protection has been established using K-guard system. As the building height increases, the back propping will be maintained in position on each floor. Propping close to the perimeter of the building must be secured. Always consult your black hat supervisor before accessing any work areas during formwork construction. Always report any concerns to the black hat supervisor or site safety officer. Internal works. Ensure access routes on stairs, landings and corridors are free from trip and fall hazards. Do not access any work area unless there is sufficient lighting and the access routes are clearly defined. Check your work areas to ensure there are no fall from height or trip hazards in your work areas. Avoid trailing leads and plan the waste removal from your work area with your black hat supervisor. All rooms and corridors must be free from waste, trip and fall hazards. Report immediately to your black hat supervisor or Cairn H&S officer if there are any hazards in your work area. Scaffolding. A full-time scaffolding crew are present on all Cairn sites. The scaffold supervisor will inspect and sign off the scaffold weekly and make any adjustments necessary for individual trades. The following points must be observed when using the scaffold. All scaffolds are tagged. Never access a scaffold if the tag is not clearly displayed. Scaffold platforms must be within 225 mm of the building or internal guardrails must be in place. Scaffold platforms must be kept clear of waste and materials. Toe boards must be in place on all platforms. Gates on the loading bay must be closed after every lift. Up and over bars to be installed on all loading bays. Never tamper with scaffold. Never climb on scaffold components. Never access incomplete scaffold. Never access scaffold without a tag. If scaffold hazards are present in your area or a scaffold is not tagged, you must stop work immediately and report to your black hat or Cairn supervisor. Work at height. Work at height is one of the most high-risk activities in construction. All work at height activities must be planned, organised and supervised. If you are unsure about any work at height activity, you do not have correct work at height equipment, there are unprotected falls from height in your work area, you must stop work immediately and report to your black hat or Cairn supervisor. Persons operating a MEUP must hold a valid training record and be approved by the site safety officer. Ladders. All ladders must meet EN 131 standard. You should only use a ladder where you cannot use more suitable equipment, and even then, the works have to be low risk and for a short duration. This applies to all ladders, including step ladders. Should the use of ladders be justified, then all ladders should be of sound construction, inspected before use, and then on a regular basis on Form GA3. Ladders must be footed or securely tied and must extend a minimum of 1 metre above the platform level. The working angle of ladders should be 75 degrees or 1 metre out for every 4 metres of height. 3-point contact must be used when climbing. Leaving an environmentally sustainable product is to the forefront of all Cairn Homes activities, and all contractors are responsible for their own waste. All hazardous waste to be stored correctly. Contact site management for site-specific details. Water management. No refuelling within 10 metres of a water course. All machines to be inspected for leaks and have a spill kit present. No direct discharge to water body or surface water drains. All personnel are required to reduce the impact of dust within the construction industry. Dust is a carcinogenic product that needs to be managed correctly. Protect yourself by using water suppression or dust extraction. Wear a face-fitting P3 mask and ensure you have suitable training for the equipment being used. Occupational dermatitis is a skin disorder caused by contact with certain substances in the workplace. It is caused by substances such as solvents, wet cements, oils and acids. To reduce the impacts of dermatitis, employees should be familiar with the safety data sheet of substances, should be informed of the risk assessment and relevant control measures, and ensure they have the correct PPE for the task. Cairn Homes recognise that the construction industry can be a highly pressurised environment, so it is essential that mental health is effectively managed. Take care of your body by eating healthily and carrying out regular exercise. If you have any problems, please contact a member of staff. Cairn Homes provides a trained mental health first aid resource on every site. Ensure you're familiar with this resource on your site. Noise. Noise is generated from both machinery and equipment required to complete the works. Personnel are required to remove noise source if practical, erect noise-proofing materials, wear work-specific PPE. Use of hand-operated tools can lead to exposure to vibrations. Whackers, kangos and drills are all examples. Make sure you are using the right tool for the job and have sufficient PPE. Manual handling injuries are the most common type of reportable injuries in construction. All personnel working on a care and home site must have completed manual handling training in the previous 3 years. Pushing, pulling and lifting are all part of manual handling and must be assessed prior to any works taking place. Personnel carrying out manual handling must know the weight to be lifted, clear the area and route prior to lifting, seek assistance if the load is heavy or hard to grip, and know your own limitations. Disciplinary procedures. Care and Homes operate a 3-level disciplinary process for all sites. The 3 levels are: Level 1. Low-level incident warning is recorded on the Cairn system. Level 2. Issued for repeat Level 1 offences or serious non-conformance with site rules, resulting in €300 fine for the contractors. Level 3. Gross misconduct or putting yourself or others at risk. This will result in immediate removal from site. Never take risks on site. Ask for help from supervisors or care management team. Don't become another construction statistic. Work safe, home safe.